চালিয়ে দিলে কেন? ওটা না শুরু করে it's not working. Why it will be like that? It was working perfectly okay.
What's that? Oh. This is the one he repaired. It should be working. Different channel. Let's see, is it working now? No. Oh, I know what it is. So you have to go back. Oh, we could use this channel. Okay.
See, some mistake here.
No.
No, it's working.
Yeah, it's working.
That's okay. No, it's working. Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from there. Oh, I salute Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the destroyer of the demons Kamsa and Chanura, the dear darling of the mother Devaki, and the Guru of the entire universe. We salute him again and again. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is book number 5, chapter number 14. We are Bharata, the king Bharata, who was in the form of the body, taking the body of a what is his name? Who took the form of an ordinary human being and was silent, and Rahu Guna was the king of the country and his palanquin bearer. And then he understood the greatness of this Bharata and then started praising him. And ultimately we read that Sri Shukadeva said, O King Parikshit, thus though insulted, Bharata being insulted by Rahuguna the king at first, that great sage, who is that? Bharata, out of his limitless compassion, instructed the king, Rahuguna, in the knowledge of the Supreme Being. And then worshipped by Rahuguna, the sage with his mind and senses absolutely unruffled, like the unagitated surface of a calm sea, proceeded again to move about in the country. So this happened that the Rahuguna asked forgiveness and asked Bharata that I didn't understand your glory and tell me how to get out of the samsara, this world of Maya. And he instructed that. But he is a great soul. He forgot the improper behavior of Rahuguna, not knowing Bharata's greatness. But he didn't mind that. That is the greatness of the great sadhus and sages. Out of the limitless compassion, he forgot and he didn't take any notice of the insult what Rahuguna did it to Bharata. So he, instead of forgetting all the faults of this, his mind is very balanced mind and not agitated by the praise and blame of it. So proceeded again to move. Then giving this advice, the Bharata wanted to roam around in the world. Then Rahuguna, the king of the Suviras, Saubis, having gained this knowledge of the Atman through his contact with the great sage. So, with Bharata's instruction, the great sage like Bharata, getting his instruction, then again, Rahuguna, the king, abandoned the ignorant born identification with the body. His gain is that he forgot. He matured in experience that I am not the body. This experience came to him, and he then proclaimed. He went around again into the country here and there like a wandering monk. Such are the benefits that accrue from the association of the devotees who have taken refuge in the Lord. So Rahuguna then understood two things: the not I'm not the body, that body identity being separated, and the second point, the glory of the holy association. Now, Raja Parikshit, then they respond, Sukadev and Parikshit, that is the entire Bhagavat started there. So the Sukadev said this, then Raja, the Parikshit, King Parikshit said, O paragon of devotees, eh? Sukadev is the paragon of devotees, Bhakta Srestha. What you have said before in an allegorical language about the road of samsara is intelligible only to well instructed people. Because you told sometimes just before that this world samsara is a whirlpool. You get entangled into it and it brings the body identity, and the mind, etc., senses are like dacoits, they steal your spirituality, etc. But I didn't understand. It is intelligible only those who are good people who have got better instruction. I, ignorant man like me, I cannot grasp it in totality. Therefore, please elaborate the allegory on this difficult subject, that means samsara, this world, how it entangles us into bondage, attachment, and how even the person of wisdom become caught into the trap of ignorance and maya. So please explain all these things again in details. So now explaining the allegory. Then Sukadeva started explaining this. This is the story of Bharata, forest of samsara explained again. The Sukadeva said, by the operation of the forces of Prakriti, known as Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, the jivas who mistakenly identify themselves with the body get repeated embodiments according to their karmas, which are either meritorious, demeritorious, or mixed. So what he says, why we are in the samsara? Very simple. Bhagavan Sukadev, son of the Vyasa, ever free, that Sukadev, he said, by the operation of the forces of Prakriti, Prakriti is guiding and forcing everyone to run in their own samskar. And by that force, what is that force? Prakriti means Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. These three gunas are behind each jiva. And they're goading you mistakenly, and that because of that Prakriti, we are all identified, this body, this mind, this emotion, this anger, this frustration, all these things associated with it. Therefore, who mistakenly identify themselves with the body, then what happens as a result of identification? Get repeated embodiment according to their karmas. Everyone is born, someone is human body, someone is plant body, animal body, god body, demon body. They are because of their karma, and it is under the Prakriti, three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. The six senses, Chakshu, Karna, Nashika, Jiva, Tok, and mind, that is the six. The six senses of man are the prime factors for Jiva's involvement into samsara. Yeah, I see something, I say, I like it. So eyes are entangling me into the world. I hear something nice, I want to get it. There is food, I have to test it. So all these entanglements, it is the jiva gets entangled into these, involved into samsara, six senses of man, they're the prime factors, and the mind. Mind added with the senses, they're the prime factor and involving the jiva into the wheel of samsara or transmigratory cycle, with its never ending experience of birth and death. A new, every day, new scene, new things to see, new. See how many, our whole day, say, look at that from childhood till now. All the five senses, whatever they bring the information, I want to get it, I want to taste it, I want to know it, I want to. Running for one is gone, another is gone, another is gone, another. Endless objects are attracting our attention, and we are getting involved into it, forgetting God. So this is the cycle of birth and death. It's never ending, as it were, because the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas, these three qualities are manifested everywhere. And according to the object and my mental condition, is a samskaras pulling from behind that is creating this trouble. It is the infinitely powerful Maya, the will of the Lord, that has pushed the jiva into this path of samsara, full of perils and difficulties. So why it is happening? Because it is the Maya, play of Maya. And Maya is very infinitely powerful. Individual ignorance is a part of the cosmic ignorance. Cosmic ignorance is so powerful, Maya, that is the three gunas, the will of the Lord, and Maya is nothing but the will of God. Shakti, that's why it's called Shakti, Brahman and its Shakti. That has pushed the jiva into this path of samsara. Forced. Ever free soul, forgetting their freedom, they get entangled into the world and full of this pushed us into the peril of samsara, and it's difficult to say we enter into it, and what we get is a nice place. Everyone will say, come, 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 and enter, and then what will happen? Then you cry like us, weep like us, fight like us, angry be like us. All this reaction, emotional, intellectual, physical, go on fighting, 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 fighting. Endless, endless, endless. So long as the entanglement is deeper. But the enjoyments of the results of their actions, the jivas have been put on this path in the forest of samsara. Why is put? God has pushing. Why God has pushed you in another way, me another way? My karma. The sun is rising in the eastern horizon. Why one is going to school? Why one is going to the court? Why one is driving to the office? Why one is going to the what you call vacation? Everyone's karma. Why one is mother is starting waking up, cooking for the children? Why someone is going to make this and that? Every in the cosmic Maya, it is propelling. It is not doing directly. Say, hey, you do, you do, you do. Sun does not tell us what to do. But whenever 4:30 came, we know we have to come to this class. Sun did not do anything, but guided and dictated. Why? According to my sanskara. Those who are to have another duty, they are thinking, I have to go to the airport. Someone's thinking, I will have to now get ready for the evening prayer. Someone is going to think, I'll have to eat something. So everyone is propelled by their own samaskara. And this is the cosmic Maya goading everyone in this way. Not goading this, he is not taking a noose and pulling everyone, hey, you do this, you do that, you do that. So this is the samsara. For the enjoyment of the fruits of their actions, the jiva have been put on this path in the forest of samsara, which is an impure and weird as cremation ground. No? It's beautiful. for the enjoyment of the fruits of their actions. We have their karma, we have their desire, and to fulfill those desires and their actions, jiva has been put into the path of the forest of this path of the samsara. That's why Swami Vivekananda used this idea that the mother, Prakriti is like a mother. She takes holding our hand, taking us everywhere to experiences of happiness, pleasure, pain, this, that, and ultimately to liberation. So we are all goaded by Maya, the cosmic power of God, and goading us to go through the experience of life. Happiness, pleasure, pain, opposites of all these things are going on. Why? Because of our karma. And because of their karma, or we want to karma, we want to do something. And we want to do why? Because I want to enjoy something, enjoy the results of my karma. So that is the samsara. And takes us, which this path of the forest of samsara, we get into the samsara. No? And as a cremation ground, it is, and this is very bad area. Our world is not a good area. How much bitterness, how much fight, how much anger, how much nonsense, all are going on in this. That's why it's called the forest. Forest we get lost, no? Deep forest we get lost. We do not know go path out. Near Mayavati of our Himalayan center in the Uttar Pradesh, that say people go there and then enter into the forest, do not know where to go out, how to get out of the forest. Because there's so only trees all around. And in the deep, dense forest, you lose the track of human movement. So you get lost. We are like that in the world of this forest. We get lost into it. But in spite of this, they persist in their travel through the forest like a greedy merchant in quest of wealth. Though we have lost our track in the forest of samsara, but still we are greedy. I want this, I want that, I want that. All the sensate experiences. They continue to perform selfish actions, however difficult they may be, and prolong their involvement in the samsara indefinitely. We are all thinking of how I shall be happy, how I shall be joyful, how I shall be cheerful, excluding everyone. How I can be at the cost of all. So this is a continuous effort going on. In place of cutting it short by following the footsteps of the holy ones who are absorbed in the bliss of the Lord's lotus feet. No, we don't take refuge in the holy people or in the feet of lotus feet of the Lord or the scriptures what they suggest, but we follow the path of greed, follow the path of selfishness, so follow the path of essential enjoyments. The six senses of man are the robbers that attack him in the forest. So when you enter into the forest, samsara you enter, and six robbers are there waiting to take away your all spiritual assets. And then comes the question of your survival. Every day we are living in death, die. We are always fearful of losing something, dying. I'm going to lose this, I'm going to lose that, I'm going to lose. Fear. The wealth of man is really meant for adoration of the Lord. Money is given to person, by God has given some money. It is for doing the charity or good to serve others and for charitable and religious purpose that promote his higher evolution in the hereafter, so that after death he can go to the higher plane. So one should use, if he has money, for this charitable activity, for the good of others, for redeeming suffering of others. But the mind and the five organs of knowledge, which are like six brigands, rob away all that wealth by attracting it to mean sensuous enjoyment that could be delivered to the sights, hearing, touching, taste, smile, imagination. Huh? So, all the objects of the senses, taking away our inner intention and making us forget about who we are. Sight, tongue, ear, all the touch, the whole world is slave of all these things. And forgetting why we are here, we lose our all freedom. We who have taken away our freedom, our desires have taken away freedom. And everyone is free. Swamiji says, let go thy holds on the sin board. Eh? Om Tat Sat Om. You are that. But how to get out of hold? No, we have to hold on. So this is the, and as is the wealthy man, is really to use his money for the good of others, purpose to serve others, for the higher evolution of the soul. But the mind and the five organs of knowledge are six, they are six robbers, and that are wealth attract, taking away the robbing the wealth. How? By attracting us to the five senses. Some beauty, some sound, nice touch, nice tongue. These five senses. Chakshu, Karna, Nashika, Jiva, Tok. And corresponding object. Rupa, Rasa, Sabda, Gandha, Sparsha. These are the five corresponding object. Eyes, which is form, Rupa. Tongue, it is Rasa. Ice cream, Rasgulla. Uh, any good food. This is tongue. Rasa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Fragrance. Industry of perfume industry. Rupa, Rasa, Sabda, Gandha. Sparsha, touch, soft touch, what you call the holy touch, unholy touch. All these are the roving, taking away with the help of mind. Attracting to mean sensuous enjoyment. These senses entering into the trap of samsara. Say a child is born, how innocent. When he enters, he will have to enter fees, cry. You have to pay some entry into the world. How you enter? You cry, you have to cry. Baby should cry, otherwise death, baby is dead. So entering through cry, he is innocent. It loses his all personality freedom by getting attracted to this, when you grow, attracted to this, I want this, and selfish motivation destroyed all. It is like as the robbers do with the wealth of a merchant. What the robbers do? They want money to rob. From merchant, we are all merchant. We have rich potential inside, but forgot everything because of our weaknesses of the mind, which are badly laid and we are careless about their safety. So don't take care of your spiritual wealth. So the senses then attract us, and each thing is way robbing away your own spiritual pleasure, strength. Know these six senses to be the brigands of the forest of samsara. So these are that is song now. বিষয় পঞ্চক আর ভূতগণ কেহ নয় তোর সকলে কি আছে কেহ নয় বিষয় পঞ্চক আর ভূতগণ কেহ নয় they don't belong to you. This Vishaya Panchak, the five sense objects, taste, the object of the sight, object of the hearing, object of the tongue, object of the touch, all these things don't belong to you. Why are you forgetting your divine self? That's exactly what is Bhagavatam is telling in the music and Ramakrishna used to sing and love. In the forest of samsara, there are members of one's family known as husband, wife, children, etc. Samsara, that is the way of samsara. When we enter into the samsara, then my father, my mother, my son, my daughter, my wife, my husband, though known by such names.
বিষয় পঞ্চক আর ভূতগণ সব তোর পর কেউ নয় আপন।
Hmm. Okay, so though known by such names indicating closeness, they are the wolves of the forest who, much against the will of the miserly householder, demand and deprive him of his strongly guarded wealth, as wolves carry away young kids from the flock of sheep. A flock of sheep is there, wolf jumps and takes away another sheep. So similarly, the individual soul is in the grip of this type of fatal death, because he is moving in the world of samsara. He is not guarded how to protect the spirituality, not guarded. We are guarded about other things, minor, worldly, useless thing, but not guarding our spiritual wealth and spiritual treasure. So it is like a, therefore the fourth verse says, 14 chapter 4, though a field of plough is ploughed every year, it is found covered with creepers and grass when new sowing operations start. No, every year you find in the field. No, that's where the corn field, rice field. So you make the ground ready, but once session goes, then you see again weeds come and it fills up. So for the seeds of the old plants have been present in it, because the old samskaras remain. One season goes means one life goes. One crop was over. But another crop, because the seed is hidden there. Therefore, even so, the householder in the field of karma and works never end, and works. The world, being in the world of samsara, everyone is busy, 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 whole day. I'm busy, I have no time, I have no time. The household is the field of karma, the household activity, what we are engaged every day. That is the field of activity. And works never end there, because of the presence of the seeds in the shape of desire and tendencies. In us, always there is a seed, hidden seed of desire and tendencies, in the shape of desire and tendencies. It is in this case of a box in which camphor is kept. It is like an example, as in the case of a box where the camphor is kept. Even if the substance is removed, you take away the camphor, but the smell of the camphor persists there. So, no, this is the point. Though the body goes away, but its samskaras remain there, and that samskaras gives birth to the next life, and to the next life, to the endless chain of going and coming. The traveler on the road of samsara, 5, verse number 5. The traveler on the road of samsara now is attacked, even without any purpose, by evil men. In the gross example, you go to the forest, you'll find that there is mosquitoes, there are flies. No, here also, their lust, greed, etc., they tie and pull, and he's deprived of his wealth, and his wealth is eaten away by insects, birds, rats, thieves. Prompted by ignorance, desire, and tendency for work, he moves about in this world of men, attributing substance and value to it. So, prompted by ignorance, we are all, due to our ignorance, desire and tendency for work. Ignorance, we desire. Why we desire for work? But we want something. We get some money, we get some enjoyment, we get some house, we get some pleasurable things. So, prompted by ignorance, first of all, I'm ignorant, I'm not knowledgeable for my own self. That being that background, desire and tendency for work is inherent. That guy moves around in the world of men, and it attributes the substance, objects of the universe, and value to it. Valueless thing, we pay value. We fight for petty things, but we give up the big things. Major thing, I am in danger. I am in death, jaws of death. I am in ignorance. The endless suffering is continuing with us, not being careful about that. And then we give value to it, substance, attributing substance and value to it. This world and these worldly things, we attribute so much value on it, which in truth is illusory as a castle in the air. This world exists so long our mind exists. When I go to sleep, this world does not. So this world, which is so momentary in our life, when I am conscious of it, when I am watching it, it is here. And when I mind moves away, it is not there for me. But this we so much value. That's why it's called illusory. Illusory does not mean that it is not there. There is, but my perception is always changing because of my mental state, sanskara. 6. Sometimes infatuated with sense enjoyments, which to a discerning mind are ephemeral like mirage. The jiva gets engrossed with eating, drinking, and mating. That means the whole world is going on like that, no? Look at the life from morning till night. People are working hard. Millions of people. What is the impetus? You go to the train station in New York, you go to any other busy center, no? Thousands and thousands of people are coming out of the train, running to catch the plane, catch the train, running, going to the office, and working, coming back in the stream of cars in the freeway. So much jam-packed car. What? All doing. What? For what? For few dollars and few good food. And at the end of the day, come and sing and dance and spend the day with some fun and joy and sleep and start the second day like a slave. Again go on and again go on. This is life. So Bhagavat is such a book. It gives the insight of samsara and the insight to what is going on. We are deluded. We 100 times we hear, but it does not awaken because inner samskaras. So samskaras to be changed means one should be watchful. So sometimes infatuated with the sense enjoyments, which to a discerning mind, when man of understanding and proper understanding, are ephemeral. They are all impermanent. Like my mirage in the desert. You go to the desert, you see the water. There is no water, but you see it all the time and you get deluded. So we are all in the world trying to find the drinking water and running after this to go and find nothing there. Sometimes he comes across gold, the source of all evil. Money. Ramakrishna said, gold. See, this is the same language. Kanchana. Kama Kanchana. Two things Ramakrishna has coined, the Bhagavat is the same. Two things are all like goading everyone. Kama and Kanchana. Desire and fulfillment. Passion. Passionate desire for worldly enjoyment and Kanchana, the money, the gold. Gold and these two. So he comes, sometimes this jiva in the forest of samsara gets some gold and the source of all evil. See, you have less money, less problem. Money more, everyone will flock around you and then try to steal and praise you to the highest. You are such, you are God Himself. You are such a great person, and how much they can steal and fight and the source. That's why it is called source of all evil. Prompted by rajas, which is the same color as gold, he goes to take it. That means it is the effect of rajaguna. But the pursuit of the bright metal only brings on him an all-round trouble. Who are running for money, 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 money. See, so much trouble, so much trouble. And look at the person, really denouncing person in the Himalayas go. They have nothing, no money, no. So, how much problem is solved? But another problem is there, that's a different thing. But this major problem which we are facing in this world, for lack of money or to have money, all the contest, all the fight, all the competition is because of gold, 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 gold or money. And he wants to get it. But the pursuit of the bright metal, the chesta, we are trying to get that money, bring on him all round trouble. Just as in the case of a man who, distressed by intense cold, runs towards a flaming devil. So you want, someone is very feeling distressed with the cold and running to a devil. He's a devil, he will kill me. But it looks like a flame, and we want to grab that. That means illusion, to the illusory thing. Verse number 8, 14th chapter. Sometimes the jiva is in dire want of a dwelling place. Gold, then residing place. Dwelling place, food and drink, wealth and other objects of enjoyment, and wanders about everywhere in quest of them in the forest of samsara. As it is for survival question. When you are in the world, you need this, but when you are infatuated with that, that becomes the goal of life. Yeah, for survival, you need food, you need shelter, you need some drink, you need something, food, wealth also. But people forget that is the goal of life. As if to get that, people are all given up their higher values of life. 9th verse. Sometimes he gets entangled in lust, who are like a dirty which is like a dirty whirlwind that completely blinds the eyes of discrimination. When anyone entangled with lust, his eyes are blinded. He does not see anything beyond that and becomes a victim of that. So, with all power of discrimination erased in that person, all the noble qualities of analysis or discrimination or discernment goes away. He or she allows himself or herself to be petted and fondled in the lap of men or women. As a consequence, all his lowest animal propensities based in tamas are let loose. So tamoguna then wakes up, bringing all these sensual things around. Ridden with the lust and totally blinded by desire, he even forgets the presence of gods, devas that stand always as witness to the action of them. They forget good action, bad action, whatever they're doing. They are like a born slave. They're forced to do that, goaded to do that. So this is the lust and greed that he's talking about. 10th verse. Sometimes he may realize the vanity of the sensuous life by this experience. After so much effort, when they get some sensual experience, they understand, oh my God, I made so much effort to get this much gain. He understands that. That's why sometimes he may realize the vanity. It is useless to invest so much energy to get this much of joy. Yet being deprived by the memory of his spiritual nature, he forget about his spiritual nature by overpowering bodily consciousness. His body consciousness is being, he forgets his memory of his spiritual nature, that we are divine. I don't need anybody. In me is joy itself. Dive deep and find the bliss inside. That formula, that ideas, these I all are forgotten. And again go for something but beautiful taste, tongue and eyes and the same sense experiences. Overpowering body consciousness, that is the spiritual nature. To forget that. He runs after those very small, same mirage like sensuous fulfillment as before. See, this is the problem. First of all, people get deluded and deluded, okay, one time, that's good. It is said that one time experience is good, everything. But again, that delusion gives in unfulfilled desire. Okay, once I did, again next. And then you get frustrated. Oh my God, I invested $1,000 and in return I got one penny. But $1,000 could be invested in God realization. The penny return will be much better. Not at the beginning, but people forget that and they go into the old rut of the cycle of sensuous experiences again and again. That's why 10th verse says sometimes maybe he may realize the vanity of the sensuous life. Not that there is no joy, it gives joy, but too much price for little gain. Yet, being deprived of the memory of his spiritual nature, what a great loss that we forget the divine nature, which is overpowering body consciousness that exists with me. He forgets that. And he runs or she runs after those very same mirage like sensuous fulfillment as before. 11th verse. The direct and indirect threats of kings and enemies are what have been described as the harsh hoots of owls and shrill screeches of crickets, causing as much unpleasantness to the heart as to the ear. He's giving the example that previously they gave the example. No, you remember the last time we read that it is like entering into a forest. A man was walking into the forest, lost his track, and his feet is entangled into the what do you call the uh, creepers, and the creepers, and he's standing, and then all the crickets are making noise, disturbing. So she's trying to understand each what does it signify. The direct and indirect threats, we always live in the threat of life, no? Kings and enemies. Always they're saying, you do this, I will do this. I will take you to the court. I will do this to the police, no? I will take your money. I will report it to this, no? So all these any threats of the kings and enemies are like crickets, are like the harsh hoots of owls and shrill screeches of crickets, causing as much unpleasantness to the heart as to the ear. When the results of a jiva's 12 verse, when the results of a jiva's good work exhausted, and he is without any means of livelihood, he becomes the dependent on other worldly men who are wealthy, but nonetheless deserve only to be called living dead. You know, that happens, no? A person entering into the world as a result of good karma when is exhausted, bad karma comes, then what will happen? They will without any means of living. They become poor, they may not have somebody to support, no one takes care of them, everyone, all friends will turn their face back. So these things happen. He becomes the dependent of other worldly men. Naturally, we go to help. Can you help me? When we fall in difficulty, we what to do? We go to this person, that person who there. But everyone very kind. Some 1 or 2 days they will be sweet, and third day they will kick you out. So this is the suffering going on, dependent on other worldly men who are wealthy, but nonetheless deserve only to be called living dead. Because for the wealth of these pitiable men, going to misuse is a menace to themselves in this world and fail to secure any good for them in the hereafter. These are described as the poisonous trees, creepers, and well, which serve no useful purpose to anyone. So he's saying that this, though in the world when results of jiva's good karmas are there, so long you can enjoy. When you are having good time, no, you don't need God. Everything fun, singing, dancing, money, plenty of enjoyable things around. But when that good karma is time is over, then what happens? Then he is without any means of livelihood. He becomes a poor person, he becomes a homeless person. Huh? He becomes dependent on other worldly men. These worldly men who are wealthy men, but they deserve only to be called living dead because they have no heart. They keep their money with themselves not to serve the poor people or needy people in their hell. So, is a meanness of themselves in this world and this fail to secure any good for them in hereafter. So, these good people, the rich people, those who are miser and those self-centered, they don't get any benefit here because of charity to help poor people. Neither in the heaven they can go because of their bad karma. These are described. These are described in the when we enter into the samsara. These are considered to be the poisonous trees and creepers. Huh? Whenever you go to uh, a person having richness with money and wealth, but they do not know how to utilize. So they are this type of tree. Every tree has its goodness. Some tree gives good shade, some tree gives good uh, fruits and flowers, but some trees are poisonous trees. So these are poisonous trees and poisonous creepers. And wells, on so many, you can fall down into the well, which so serves no purpose for anyone. 13 verse, 5:13. Sometimes through unholy association, he is lured into atheistic sects, which are like waterless rivers. Just as a person falling into them only hurts himself, these atheistic religions only bring suffering to the jiva in this world and the next. That atheistic philosophy actually damages the spiritual nature also. But there may be good people. But here he says, sometimes in the world of samsara, through unholy association, these people go to those people who don't believe in God. And they find there are so many philosophies where there is no need of God. So why to be moral then? If there is no God, there is no future to worry. Just go and live the life whichever way you want to live. He lured into atheistic sect. That means he's saying he goes feel connected with the people who don't believe in God, believe in karma, believe in any future, only this life. This life is called Charvaka philosophy. They say that so long you are in the world, eat, sleep, drink, and eat and die. Why think of God? Why think of afterlife? Why think of another heaven? All this concept. Give up. So just as a person falling into them only hurts himself, these atheistic religions only bring suffering to the jiva in the world and the next. 14. When a man is not able to gain his livelihood, even by oppressing others, he turns towards his father and mother and even to distant relatives to dispossess them by asserting his right to their belongings. It is a daily harsh report of our life. When a man is not able to gain livelihood, even by oppressing others, then he turns first outside. He wants to get from outside some help. When it fails, then he goes turn inside. Their own family, mother, mom, dad, brother, sister, and they go and distant relatives to dispose them by asserting his right. It is my property, my share, you give, and they try to snatch away that. 15. Sometimes due to want of food and other necessaries, he undergoes intense and increasing suffering in his home, like one caught into the forest fire and is thrown into utter despair and depression. So it is like when someone is hungry and no food. So it is like he undergoes intense suffering inside in his home, as if someone has caught him in the home and put fire into the house. 16. The Jakshas who are supposed to steal away the vital energy of man are the kings, because king's taxation. Eh, we also feel like that. You people go to Nevada. Why? There is no sales tax or local tax is not there. But here you purchase, you give same item with so much tax. So this taxation is necessary for the king to run the management, run the good of the things of the country. But sometimes they get tax, put taxation so much, and then for their own kingly pleasure. So the kings who in adverse times like war and invasion deprive a man of his whole wealth, dear to him as life itself, and leave him practically a lifeless corpse when war starts, no? So that time many restrictions come for the ordinary people to survive. So they are like the jaksas, they squeeze the vital energy of others. Sometimes he enters into the realm of fancy and thinks of the days of his ancestors, like fathers and grandfather, and seems to get some relaxation as in a dream experience. So, entering into this world of Jaksas, 17 verses, that he enters into the realm of a fancy and thinks of the days of his ancestors. And now he tries to imagine something. Oh, his father was rich, his grandfather was rich, and this is the family came, just to keep the mind engaged into this type of thinking. So they get relaxation, like a dream. 18. The mountain he tries to cross is the performance. The mountain he tries to cross is the performance of the various rights and duties he has to accomplish in the household life. Like one trying to cross over a mountain, he gets hurt, exhausted by walking over stones and thorns, and finally gives up all efforts and sits quietly in a place in utter frustration. So the mountain example that he has in the forest, going through the forest and mountains journey, our life's journey, going through the forests and mountains. So the mountain is what? Mountain he tries to cross is the performance of various rites and duties. All the duties and rites and rituals we do that take away our life energy. So like one trying to cross a mountain, his feet gets hurt, exhausted by walking over the stones and thorns, and finally gives up all efforts and helplessly sits. So that it becomes the condition of a uh, person who is moving into the world of samsara. Sometimes tormented and exhausted by unbearable hunger, he seeks com- compensation by losing his temper at his wife. So he's too much hungry, too much exhausted, and losing his temper and charging his wife, because why you have not given me food? It happens, but she has no resource to give. 20th, the python gripping him in his sleep, absorbed in which he afterwards lives like a dead body in the darkness of tamas, abandoned by all the lonely forest. So this pitiable situation, every verse is talking about. 21 verse. Evil men are the fierce serpents. In the world you are moving, fearful serpents are there who attack and shatter his molars that stand for self-respect. The shook, the shock caused thereby deprives him of sleep and his power of correct judgment. Like a blind man fallen into a disused well, he welters in stupefying sorrow. So the evil men which we meet in our life, they are like the fierce serpents who attack us and shelter his molars that stand for self-respect. So as a result, like a blind man fallen into a disused well, that person welters in this stupefying sorrow. At the time, 22nd verse, at times owing to his hankering for honey of vulgar enjoyments, he runs after other people's women and wealth, only to be killed by their masters or ruling king. He suffers the torment of abysmal hell as a consequence. Hence, 23rd, great men say that self centered action promoted by desire is the fertile field of sorrow and suffering in this world. So ultimately, 23rd verse says, the great men always say that self-centered actions, when one does action only for self-pleasure, prompted by desire, is the fertile field of suffering in the world and the next. Perhaps he is now free from troubles of poverty because of some wealth that has come to him. Immediately, one Devadatta robs him, and a Vishnudatta in turn deprives Devadatta of it. Thus, wealth flies from one hand to the other hand unendingly. This world is like that. One snatches the money from one, and his money is taken away by another money. So, this is the competition and fight of money and all the enjoyments. 25th verse, sometimes unable to protect himself from various natural visitations like storm, cold, etc., and from sufferings originating in the mental and physical disturbances, he loses himself in the sorrow of worrying thought that have no end. So, being helpless, everything, that person ultimately leads a very sorrowful life, worrying thoughts, what will happen. People then spend days and nights thinking what is happening, what will happen, and they become totally lost into it. So, this is giving a green picture of what is the samsara in which we are so happy here, and every day we are enjoying the world so beautifully, forgetting God. So, it is a hell, hell, hell. That is the idea he is giving. Actually, many people will not agree to read this book because this is very harsh truths are being spoken here. World is so much cheerful and joyful. You are always putting that it is a bad place, bad place, bad place. Everything is bad. Uh, but to a discerning soul, it is to be understood. Simple living, eating, leading a good life is different. But greed, desire, fulfillment of infinite, intense karma, which is goading us to the world and worldliness, is always blinding our consciousness. So it is all hellish experience. So he will continue, Bhagavat will continue another 25, 26 verses talking about the samsara, this world, and this what a dreadful samsara we are living, forgetting our eternally peaceful self all the time. We end here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Sanskrit is very good. সুখ দুঃখ রাগ দ্বেষ ভয় অভিমান প্রমাদ উন্মাদ শোক মোহ লোভ মাৎসর্য অভিমান সুত পিপাসাদি ব্যাধি জন্ম জরা মরণ আদয়. All these are coming. Death. Okay, then we'll see you in the class at 7:30 with our Upanishad class, Sheta Upanishad. Thank you.